Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another episode of reaction to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Is this right? My name's Fat. Hello. Hi. We're watching a finale today. We're watching the final episode of season 4 of Buffy. I don't know what the fuck we're gonna be doing today. Like full complete transparency here, and I did mention this last episode. I'm watching this only a couple days after I watch previous episode. Usually I wait like a week. This time I'm watching this as close as I was able to. I didn't even watch the Angel episode that I should have been watching. I'll watch it after this, but not I'm going from Buffy to Buffy instead of Angel in between. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I really want to know what the fuck we're doing here with this episode of Buffy. Because I feel, in complete honesty, I feel dumb. I feel stupid. I feel like I missed something. I feel like I watched last episode and it felt like everything resolved, and I'm just sitting there dumbfounded. Like I was expecting for someone to like die. I was like so ready for things to not be solved. And then everyone solved in the neatest, most perfect way possible through the power of friendship or whatever. And I was just sitting there like, what the fuck happened? Like, we have an extra episode. Like in that video, I did spend a while trying to come up with like what could happen in this next episode. And I did come up with some couple different things, some ideas about like what we could be doing. One of them is just like things are fine, and this episode is just like, hey, everyone's just chilling, everyone's just happy, and we get to like talk, express our feelings and shit. Like Buffy didn't talk to Riley at all about the Angel stuff until very recently, so maybe they do get to spend time with that now. Like last episode, the past two episodes, a lot of like shit came through regarding the main cast and issues that they have had. So maybe we can talk about that. Maybe we can get to see Willow and Tara bang on screen. I don't know. Everything could be great. However, I don't know, and I kind of don't think, I don't feel that that should be the case. I am like waiting for an extra shoe to drop. And I thought about two maybe possibilities about what could happen this episode. And joke's gonna be on me when I watch this, and it's completely great. But like two things that I thought. One is the government at the very end said like, oh yeah, we're just gonna remove every like trace of the initiative. That was a failed experiment, and we're gonna ensure that everyone, like nobody gets to talk about it. Every survivor is gonna get a standard like a non-disclosure agreement. And as for the civilians, they were going to like keep them in like observance, like to make sure that they don't speak. And they said that in case something happened, they're gonna resort to like standard treatment, which to me feels like they're just gonna fucking kill them if anyone dares to speak. And they say like, we don't think they will. So I'm thinking that this episode could be the government actually just fucking comes in and tries to assassinate us. And because it's the final episode, it makes me think that someone's gonna die. First on the chopping block, Riley. I was so sure he was fucking dead already. Like 2 episodes ago, I'm like, he's fucking dead. I don't know if y'all remember, but like 10 episodes ago, more, I was looking at Riley and I'm like, oh, this kid's gonna fucking die by the end of the season. Like, he's not living. I was like, he's so dead. So that's why like last episode shook me so hard. I was like expecting that to happen, and then it didn't. And everything turned out to be great, actually. So I'm like, okay, fuck that. I don't know what we're doing. The other alternative that I thought about what could happen this episode is that Riley was injected with something when he was stuck at the chair at Adams. And the thing is that I was like, oh, maybe that could have been a sedative, or they could have been preparing him for something. But it's like, he was already like tied to the chair. Not tied, but he couldn't move. Like, he was already there. And there was no reason for them to inject him with anything that would restrain him in any way. So that was for something else. It could be some kind of preparation, some dubious drug. But they wouldn't have shown me that unless it mattered. That's what I think. And if it mattered, the one thing that I'm thinking about is the reason why he freed himself and was able to fight for us maybe was because of the drug. It like undid something on him. But that is even more suspicious because that means that is part of Adam's plan. And if I remember correctly, Adam did say episodes ago, I don't remember which one, but episodes ago, he said like, oh yeah, I can like compute every possible like result or like iteration of what could happen. So you're never going to be moves ahead of me because I'm always going to know what might happen. So he, as long as he prepares for it, then you can't beat him in like a chess game. And if that is true, then we have to assume that everything that happened last episode, there was some kind of failsafe that Adam kept for it. Something I just thought about. That sounds fucking crazy, and I don't think this would. I don't know how the fuck you would do this. But something I thought about is that what they injected Riley with just now, off the top of my head, right now, cooking live, they injected something with Riley so that then when he fucks Buffy, which will happen because they're together and they spent a full episodes banging before, he's gonna get her pregnant and Buffy's actually gonna get pregnant with whatever virus they implanted on Riley. And then Buffy's gonna give birth to the ultimate being. Which will be Adam's plan, actually. And the child's name is going to be Eve. This is my alright. I cooked. That's me cooking. Alright, I got my food right here. I'm ready. I got everything set up. I'm gonna just watch the episode and we'll see what the fuck happens. It could be any number of anything. I just gave you like 4 completely different like possible directions this could go in. I theorized that somebody was gonna die like Riley and then they were gonna bring him back to life because they have the technology because we saw reanimated zombies walking around. So if that's the case, then sure, that's also a possibility. I don't know what the fuck we're gonna be doing. I am so intrigued by this fucking episode. That's why I'm so desperate to watch it. I don't know what we're doing. I'm watching this at like 9 in the morning and I didn't sleep last night, by the way. Like, that's how I was like, I'm going to stay up and I'm going to watch Buffy very early. I'm like, fuck this. I need to come in here with the like most unhinged energy I can because that's how I feel about this fucking episode. And again, it's going to be really funny if I watch this episode and nothing happens. That would be really funny. Okay. Patreon, check out the Patreon, link in the description below, social media pop up on the screen. You can watch Angel watch-alongs, which I'm going to be watching. I still have yet to watch, I think, the next 2 Angel episodes, so I'm going to be recording those, releasing those on Patreon. I'm not sure if I'm going to be releasing the final episode of Angel on YouTube as well. I have to check that out. But yeah, you can watch all of my Angel watch-alongs there, as well as full-length Buffy videos. Me reaction to the full episodes of Buffy. I will be taking a small break after season 4 is over. I don't know how long it will be, a couple weeks, and then I'll release the Buffy cast, which is going to be a couple hours video where I just talk about the entire Buffy season 4 thing, and I'm probably going to talk a lot about Angel season 1 as a whole as well. So I'm going to be doing that. Stay tuned for like questions that I might prop somewhere online so people can ask me things that they would want me to talk about season 4 of Buffy. And then I'm going to be starting season 5 probably sometime next month. I don't know when this is going to be airing, but yeah. Anyway, sure, let's begin. Buffy season 4 episode 22 finale. Let's go.
Last to ancient first, we invoke thee.
I didn't talk about this spell at all when it happened.
Spirit.
Animus. Heart.
Surface. Mind.
And Manus. The hand.
Pretty sure that what they did was, yeah, they fused together in some weird way. That's my recap. That's it. And he goes straight into the intro. Interesting. How long is this episode? It's like 42 minutes long. Okay. I just had the funniest idea of it, like what this episode could be. And it's just another Jonathan. That would be the funniest thing in the universe. Jonathan 2 just happened right here at the ending.
I got Graham and a lot of the guys testifying I'm the reason they're alive. I might actually get out of this with an honorable discharge.
In return for your silence, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was very nice meeting you.
It was nice.
I just saw Seth Green as Alice. I'm in as Principal Snyder. I need to stop reading these, but it's difficult to not read them. Maybe it's a flashback, right? That would make sense.
I'm tired. I can't believe you're not exhausted.
7-Up product placement.
Still feel a little bit too wired.
No, that spell, that was powerful. Don't think I could sleep.
Okay, that's something that I'm filing.
Bid for apocalypse now, huh?
Did you get anything less Heart of Darknessy?
Well, they all fell asleep. Okay. Is there an aftermath to the spell? Something else that happens? We saw the spell in the recap, so the spell is important to the plot of the episode. That's what I'm thinking. Dreaming about Tara.
I think it's strange.
Did I get it right? Are they fucking on screen? Are you giving her a massage? You know, as close as we can get without actually doing it.
They will find out, you know.
What is the scene? It's not real.
Not you.
Okay. This made me think about the scene with like Fate last season, like cryptic dreams.
But you've never taken drama before.
What the fuck is that?
Something important.
And there's something out there.
This is gonna be a wild episode, isn't it? It's gonna be trippy.
Doing spells? She does spells with Tara. Sometimes I think about two women doing a spell. And then I do a spell by myself.
Chill. I need you to chill. Okay, I like how dreamy this is. I've had dreams like this one. It's like you go from this to then, and nothing really makes cohesive sense, but in the dream it does.
Exciting! Our first production. I can't wait till our scene. I love you.
Isn't this similar to the episode with the puppet?
Oh my god.
I think.
It's packed. Everybody's here. Your whole
That's-
family's in the front row, and they look really angry.
I'm cowboy guy.
Your costume is perfect. Nobody's gonna know the truth. Costume? You're already in character. I just think it's really early to be putting on a play.
You know what vibe I get? Vibe of this is gonna make a lot more sense once the episode is
Everyone
over.
that Willow's ever met is out in that audience, including all of us. Energy, energy, especially the musical numbers.
Oh, the way that move.
The things that you, you hold them, you touch them, use them.
Props?
No. Props? Yes. It's all about subterfuge. Go on out there, lie like dogs, and have a wonderful time.
Right now I'm trying to file everything being presented to me.
It'll be the best production of Death of a Salesman we've ever done. Stop it.
I don't know that play. I don't know if it's a real play. I'll have to look it up later. Silence.
Made a little space for the cheese slices.
Is this episode directed by David Lynch? What are we doing? This is Twin Peaks now. I haven't watched Twin Peaks. I want to. I should probably.
Things aren't going very well.
No. This drama class is just... I think they're really not doing things in the proper way. And now I'm in a play and my whole family's out there. And why is there a cowboy in Death of a Salesman anyway?
You don't understand yet, do you? Play's already started. That's not the point.
The play is not the point.
Hold those milk cans for you. I've come looking for a man. A salesman.
Everyone's starting to wonder about you. The real you. If they find out, they'll punish you. I can't help you with that.
What's after me? Is it something I was supposed to do? Was I supposed to... Shh. But what else could I expect from a bunch of low-rent, no-account hoodlums like you? Hoodlums, yes, I mean you and your friends, your whole sex. Throw them in the sea for all I care. Throw them in and wait for the bubbles. Men with your groping and spitting, all groin, no brain. 3 billion of you passing around the same worn-out urge. Men with your sales.
Okay. This seems like, to me, it looks like Willow is afraid of what people will say to her relationship. That's why she's afraid of you're gonna be found out or whatever.
What's after me? You must have done something. I just came to class and the play was starting. Play is long over. Why are you still in costume? Okay, still having to explain wherein this is just my outfit. Willow, everybody already knows. Take it off. I need it. Oh, for God's sake, just take it off. That's better. It's much more realistic. See?
Yeah, we're back in high school.
Is everybody very clear on this now?
Oh my god, it's like a tragedy.
I tried to warn you.
My book report. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh, who cares?
This book has many themes.
Okay. Are we gonna jump to a different character having a different nightmare now?
Did I miss anything?
Nothing much at all, really.
This is also not real.
We gotta keep going, man.
Yeah, this is now Xander's dream or whatever.
Damn this war.
I have to say, I really feel Apocalypse Now is overrated.
It gets better. I remember that it gets better.
Oh my god. What's happened to my man?
Butter flavor?
New car smell.
Cool. What's her deal?
Faker.
Oh, I'm beginning to understand this. Now, it's all about the journey, isn't it?
Hey?
We're not making too much noise down there, are we?
Oh no. Anyway, they all left a while ago.
Oh, I should probably go catch up.
Heard that before.
I move pretty fast. You know, a man's always after.
Conquest?
I'm a conquistador.
You sure it isn't comfort?
I'm a confortador also.
I enjoy the way this is directed. It all feels very dreamy.
It's very late.
Very much so.
Would you like to rest for a while?
The way she's not even talking.
I'd like you. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom.
The lines are just slightly off. The camera pans are just slightly off. They're not the way they usually work. Weird transitions, weird cuts. I do like this, the way this is directed. This is fun so far. Who's in the bathroom? Or what's in the bathroom? Where's the bathroom? We're in the jungle now. Oh, okay, he's being tested. Okay, yeah, sure.
I didn't order any vampires. That's not the way out.
Okay.
Are you sure it's us you were looking for?
Is that Spike on a swing with Giles?
Giles here is going to teach me to be a watcher. Says I got the stuff.
Spike's like a son to me. Well, that's good. I was into that for a while, but I got other stuff going on.
Even the way this is not just filmed like the technique, but the cameras they use, it feels different. Maybe it's just the lighting, but the camera itself feels different. The episode isn't even like halfway done, and I'm already like, I have to rewatch this.
I'm okay. It's not coming for me yet.
Weird transition there.
You can't protect yourself from some stuff.
I'm way ahead of you, big brother.
Brother.
I'm just marveling at whatever the fuck this episode is. Looking at yourself. Now we're moving.
Do you know where you're going?
Whatever I say after this episode is over is not gonna cover even like a 5% of what there is to say about this episode. I immediately can tell. I don't know what the fuck.
I think this is going to be a very big year for vengeance.
Isn't vengeance kind of vengeful?
You don't want me to have a hobby.
Not a vengeance hobby, no. It's dangerous. People can't do anything they want. Society has rules and borders and an end zone. It doesn't matter if... Do you mind? I'm talking to my demon.
Sorry. We just think you're really interesting.
I'm going places.
I'm way ahead of you.
Is that right?
Watch this. Do you want to come in the back with us?
I was ready for that shot to keep going for like 5 minutes. If I'm honest with you, I was ready for some weird shit like that. The shitty effect of the van moving with the green screen on the windows actually does help. It actually enhances the scene because it looks even more weird and fucked up.
Girls?
Back at the door.
I know what's up there!
These will not protect you.
Okay, that bald man with the cheese or whatever. That seems to be the connecting line between these.
Xander, what are you doing here?
What's after me?
It's because of what we did, I know that. Now listen very carefully.
La maison ne nous tout dormant. Tes copains sont tous là, ayant un taf merveilleux et rentrant en livrée normale. La créature ne peut pas te faire de mal.
God damn it, if it was Spanish I would have gotten it.
Ah, dis donc, ce n'est pas le temps pour les jeux idiotes.
Il faut que tu viennes avec nous maintenant. On t'attend.
C'est ce que j'essayais de dire.
Why did it have to be French? Why couldn't it be Italian or something? I would have a better shot at Italian than fucking French.
Go!
Now we're in the movie. Sorry, I hold no respect for the French. So after this one, I guess we're going into
Harris.
Principal Snyder. Sorry, the subtitles to spoil who that was.
I walked by your guidance counselor's office one time. A bunch of you were sitting there, waiting to be shepherded. I remember it smelled like dead flowers, like decay. And it hit me. The hope of our nation's future is a bunch of mulch. Where are you heading?
Well, I'm supposed to meet Tara and Willow, and possibly Buffy's mom.
Your time is running out.
Are we all dying? What's happening?
I'm just trying to get away. There's something I can't fight.
Are you a soldier?
I'm a confortador.
You're neither. You're a whipping boy, raised by mongrels and set on a sacrificial stone.
It's here.
This is more serious than we thought.
Giles?
I can fight anything, right?
Buffy?
I like that. He went from where Buffy was into Buffy's room and went Buffy, as if he hadn't just seen her. I love the dream logic of this episode. I'm someone who has many dreams that works exactly like this, very often. This to me feels very kind of weirdly comfortable.
That's not the way out.
What the hell is wrong with you? You won't come upstairs?
What are you, ashamed of us?
Your mother's crying her guts out.
You don't understand.
You don't understand. The line ends here with us. And you're not gonna change that. You haven't got the heart.
Now we jump into Giles' land. Okay? Throw in the abusive household bit.
Stop thinking. Let it wash over you.
Okay. Oh god, this episode. Oh, this episode is fucking girthy and we're halfway through.
Now look into the light.
Come on! Come on!
She always wants to train this badly.
Well, it appears you've never heard the fable about patience.
I want to, I want to!
Yes, go ahead.
I am a vampire.
Buffy, you have a sacred birthright to protect mankind. Don't stick out your elbow.
The way he's dreaming about being her dad.
Oh, you stick me.
I haven't got any treats. Oh, now you're gonna get that all over your face. I know you. I know you.
Hey! You're gonna miss everything.
Don't push me around. You know I have a great deal to do.
I've hired myself out as an attraction.
Sideshow freak.
Jeez.
What am I supposed to do with all of this?
You got to make up your mind, Rubes. Haven't you figured it all out yet with your enormous, squishy frontal lobes?
I wear the cheese. It does not wear me.
Honestly, you meet the most appalling sort of people.
Oh, my brain is not big enough for this episode. I don't think anyone's brain is big enough for this episode. Not on a first watch. What Spike was saying, what I'm thinking is that Giles' life being divided into wanting to have a love life, not fully committing to it, wanting to be a dad and a mentor figure to Buffy, not fully committing to it, getting distracted by Spike.
Okay. A man walks into the office of a doctor. He's wearing on his head, wait, there's a duck. Is that right?
You suck.
Shut the fuck up, she's great.
She's doing quite well.
Do you know this is your fault?
We have to think of the facts, Willow.
Throwing in the guilt in there, yes.
Something's after us. It's like some primal, some animal force.
And then the duck tells the doctor that there's a man that's attached to my ass.
You've got to focus. You must have some kind of explanation. If we don't know what we're fighting, I don't think we stand a chance.
It's strange. It's not like anything we've faced before.
We're doing a musical now. This is why they were throwing in a couple of scenes of him playing.
The spell we cast with Buffy must have released some primal evil that's come back seeking. I'm not sure what. Willow, look through the chronicles for some reference.
Are they all linked in this dream world in some way? They have the lighters out. By the way, I love the structure of this episode, how this is divided into, I believe, 4 parts. We're now in part 3.
Well, that was obvious. I know who you are, and I can defeat you. You can cripple you with my thoughts. Of course, you underestimate me. You couldn't know. You never had a watcher.
Okay. So Act 3 reveals, like, what kind of is happening.
Buffy, wake up. I'm not really in charge of these things. Please wake up. Oh, please.
That's Anya.
I need my beauty sleep.
This might be in the real world. Anya might be in the real world being like, wake up, please, I need you. You need to save them.
Faith and I just made that bed. For who?
Oh god, we're going back to...
The guys aren't here, are they? We were gonna hang out and watch movies.
You lost them.
No. I think they need me to find them.
7:30.
It's so late. Oh.
I don't remember what the fuck Fitz said. What did she say? She said a number.
I'm
What's
never
that?
gonna use those.
The
I
hands?
think you know what's to come. What you are, you haven't even begun. Be back before dawn.
I don't remember what the fuck Fitz said. It was so long ago. Like, what she said was so nonsense. But she did say a number, which might have been it was a 3-digit number. It might have been a time. Because I think it was like 750 or something like that. Because I
Mom?
believe it started with like 7 maybe.
Oh, hi, honey.
Hi, Joyce.
Why are you living in the walls?
Oh, sweetie, no, I'm fine here. Don't worry about me. I made some lemonade, and I'm learning how to play mahjong. You go.
Oh, it's super easy, Joyce. I'll play with Joyce. We need 2 more players, though. I can only play Riichi Mahjong, Japanese Mahjong. But it's really fucking fun.
A mouse is playing with my knees.
We can invite the mice as well. No, we just need an extra player. We can invite Buffy and we can teach her as we go. Hit me up, Joyce. We'll play together sometime.
Hey there, killer.
Riley?
We're drawing up a plan for world domination. The key element? Coffee makers that think.
World domination?
I can kind of see it.
Baby, we're the government. It's what we do.
The shot.
She's uncovered in
Fucking
concepts.
gun.
Aggression is a natural human tendency, though you and me come by it another way.
Who's that?
We're not demons.
A lot of filing, giving things names.
What was yours?
Before Adam,
Oh,
not a man among us can remember.
they move like zombies.
Wait. I have weapons.
Not being able to like speak. You don't have weapons. No, mud. Worse. Grosser. Okay. I feel like my brain is getting smaller as I watch this episode. Oh! Right. That's probably coal. So that is actually camouflage.
Okay, killer. That's the way you want it.
That's probably thermal camouflage. She's a killer, I guess. Being called killer by Riley. Okay. Oh, the discussion for this episode is gonna be 3 hours long. Oh god. It's gonna be 3 hours long and it's gonna take me 4 days to record. We're in the desert.
You're not in my dream.
I was borrowed. Someone has to speak for her.
Let her speak for herself. That's what's done in polite circles. Why do you follow me?
I don't.
Where are my friends?
You're asking the wrong questions. I have no speech. No name. I live in the action of death.
I thought that it might be death.
Blood penetrating wound. I am destruction. Absolute.
Okay, we're encountering death itself.
The Slayer.
The first.
Okay, the first Slayer, harbinger of death, death
I am
itself.
not alone.
The Slayer does not walk in this world.
I walk. I talk. I shop. I sneeze. I'm gonna be a fireman when the floods roll back. There's trees in the desert since you moved out, and I don't sleep on a bed of bones. Now give me back my friends.
No friends.
Spoke.
Just to kill. We are alone.
That's it. I'm waking up. It's over. We don't do this anymore.
We don't do kill for the sake of kill. Like, I don't know what's real anymore, so I can't say that this is.
Are you quite finished? It's over, okay? I'm going to ignore you, and you're going to go away. You're really gonna have to get over the whole primal power thing. You're not the source of me. Also, in terms of hair care, you really want to say what kind of impression am I making in the workplace? Because
Okay. The episode might just end, and it was just like the weirdest, creepiest fucking episode. Yeah, I'm looking at the time. It's just kind of
socialization.
Or the
Okay.
floss.
Somehow our joining with Buffy and invoking the essence of the Slayer's power was an affront to the source of that power.
I'm guessing I missed some fun.
the spirit of the first Slayer tried to kill us in our dreams.
Oh, you want some hot chocolate?
Yeah.
Xander,
Yes, what choice? Buffy's mom.
be my kitchen buddy again?
Yes, sure. Buffy's mom.
Well, at least you all didn't dream about that guy with the cheese. I
Yeah.
don't know where the hell that came from.
Yeah. What's up with the guy with the cheese?
You think you know what's to come? What you are? You haven't even begun.
Foreshadowing. Okay. Once again, let me reiterate. It is like 9 in the morning and I haven't slept last night. And that is the state of mind that I came in to watch this episode with. Which I honestly think it was probably for the best. Because I think the less hinged I am, the more enjoyable this episode becomes. Because it hurts to think about. Okay, what's interesting about that episode is that I thought that something that matters would happen, and it might have, but I am not sure. Which is a really funny place to be in, because I think that like I watched this episode. I was sitting here and I was watching it, and I yet don't understand more than half of it. And I'm thinking that maybe that is a fool's errand. I'm thinking that maybe there is no understanding for half of that episode. Because a lot of it was wacky, weird dream logic. And I am someone who has had... I dream frequently enough. And when I do, it's always weird dreams like this ones, where I am in a POV perspective. Sometimes I'm myself, sometimes I'm someone else, but it is always from like my perspective. And dream logic is just like this and that and this and that, and it just goes. And it makes internal logic sense to the dream, so that you just roll with things, and you say things that don't make sense, and people say things that don't make sense, but there is some semblance of logic that your brain attaches to, and it makes sense within the dream logic. I really enjoy the way this episode was directed and shown and filmed and shot, and the lines of dialogue were written and how it transitioned between things. Everything about that was incredible. I fucking love this episode. I think it's the best episode in terms of direction. I love that. I don't know if it ultimately mattered in any way, because the only thing that this episode gave me is some foreshadowing right there at the very end of like, you know what's coming. So like, sure, maybe next season things are gonna pop off. I've heard season 5 is really good. So maybe they're planning big things for next season, and they are foreshadowing to it. They're setting it up. They're hyping it up. Just like, yeah, some shit is gonna go down, so get ready. Besides that, no clue if anything else in this episode mattered in any like way of like moving forward, like results. I think it did matter in a way of getting to see a weird, dreamy filter insight into how the characters feel about life or themselves or the relationships and how they see themselves and stuff. Like for example, Giles, it felt like he wants to be, because like some kind of like father or mentor figure to Buffy, and they're both intertwined. Like he's acting like a dad. Well, he's acting as if he was their watcher, but they're doing like dad-daughter activities. But every time she does anything, he kind of like says like, well, you know, you have to improve your like he's actually like coaching her, but he's doing it in such a manner that he's never like praising her. So it feels like maybe he's being rough on himself, or he sees himself as someone who doesn't give himself the ability to care or show affection as much as he probably should. Because the reality that we're seeing comes from the perspective of the dreamer's brain, which is Giles. So we have to filter everything into how Giles feels or thinks or sees things. He's hanging out with his lover, which again, I don't remember her name. She has shown up only like a couple times, but they're hanging out together. He walks into the crypt where Spike is just kind of doing a photo shoot, and there is a woman in the background that is like chained. And I'm not sure if that was his lover or if it was Death. I didn't get a clear view. It was dark, and I have many lights here. But he's completely ignoring that. He doesn't acknowledge her at all, and he's getting distracted by Spike telling him that he has to choose. And it feels like maybe Giles feels like he doesn't allow himself to, one, be Buffy's dad, or be with his lover, and instead he's ignoring all of it in order to like listen to Spike, who's just doing shit. Which kind of feels like that's what Giles' role in this season has been. We get to see Sander a little bit and how he sees lesbians and he's like, join in, and he's like, yeah, don't mind if I do. But then you get to see how constantly he comes back to his room, which is the basement of his house that he's renting, and there's knocking on the door, or like people just hitting it, just like want to come in, and Sander just runs away from it. He keeps running away from it consistently, and eventually it is revealed that it's his dad, and his dad just literally rips his heart out. And it's like, yeah, it's the abusive household bit. We've seen that with Sander. I mean, we've gotten a lot of like mentions of it, but we never see how bad it is. But you can infer how bad it is just from the fact that how Sander is always he's renting the basement, right? It's not like, oh, you can crash in our basement, it's fine, you're our son. It's like, no, you have to rent it, right? We have to gain something out of this this transaction, otherwise like we don't give a shit about you. So that's already like a sign of abuse. And just in general, like we never get to see him interact with anyone. It's just like in the basement living by himself, distracting himself with Anya and anything he can do, like searching for jobs and like the gang and the episode, the plot of the episode, every episode. And it's like, yeah, like that makes sense for Sander. So a lot of these streams actually do give us that in terms of like getting to see a version of the character that they see him themselves. And I think that's really fun. I think that for Willow, what it was, I mentioned during the reaction, but what it was like she's afraid of people finding out, or not finding out, but just how they will react to the secret that is now out in the open, which is that she is dating Tara. Which it could also be just that she's afraid of people seeing her as a loser, because then they go back to high school and they take, like Buffy takes off her clothes and Willow is back to like season 1 Willow with the long hair and stuff, and she dresses very nerdy and she acts very nerdy, and then she's like, yeah, I have my report on what was the name of the book? Widow, Wardrobe, and the Lion. I don't remember the name, the order of the words, but that book, C.S. Lewis, right? Never read it. I think I watched the first movie. Are there more than one movie? Whatever. I think I watched it. But she's going to talk about that, and then everyone just makes fun of her, and it falls over, and everyone laughs at her, mocks her, and Tara is like weirdly flirting, or like Oz is flirting with Tara, and Oz is like, see, I told you, you know? Like she was a nerd back then or whatever. And it's this thing of like Willow feeling like she can lose Tara to her own insecurities about herself. Like that makes sense to me. So she's afraid of people discovering that, one, she's a lesbian or gay on some level, but also afraid of Tara finding out the fact that she might just be a loser. She's not cool like Tara thinks she is, which it is an insecurity to have in a relationship that I think makes sense, especially for someone like Willow and at that age. It is a very unhealthy mindset, but it is not something that is super rare. It's actually very common. And then we get to see Buffy, and I don't know what the fuck was going on like the majority of the episode, and especially with Buffy at the end. I mean, maybe it felt like whatever we get to see with Buffy, we didn't get to see a lot of insight into Buffy herself, because that was Act 4 of the episode, and Act 4 of the episode was mostly just resolving the storyline. So because it was more centered on resolving it, which is essentially just, what is this creature, what is it, and then confronting it, fighting it, and then resolution of the episode. It's like, we don't really have a lot of time to explore like Buffy's mental, psychological state or emotional state. So because of that, I don't know if there's much there for me to grasp. Something I have to say, and I said it already while reacting to the episode, but I'm gonna say it again. I feel like I need to rewatch this episode. I feel like I need to rewatch this episode like at least 5 more times before I can talk about it properly. I'm not gonna do that because I have shit to do with my life, right? But I do genuinely feel like this is an episode that is pretty girthy. I thought that Okay, while I was watching it, I thought that it would be more important after it was over than what it ended up being. Because I thought that it was going to be some weird bullshit, which it was, but it was going to be some weird bullshit that it was going to be an entire episode spoken in metaphors. Then at the very end, it was all going to be coming together in a way that is like a response to something that does actually happen, but there's like a thematic connection, and then you have to go back and try to follow how it all connects together and what it all means when you solve all the riddles and metaphors that the episode gives you. And it might be that, and I think on some level it is. On some level it absolutely is that, but I feel like when the episode resolves, it's like, oh, we invoked the spirit of like the first Slayer, and whenever we did that power up move thing, we invoked the spirit of the first Slayer, and now it's like kind of weirdly haunting us. And then it's like, well, we resolved that. We beat her in a game of just wills, I guess, and then we just woke up and it was like, well, we're done. And then the episode ended and there was a talk of a cheese man. And it's like, okay, I don't know. I will say this because I'm not making myself very clear. I feel like there's a lot of foreshadowing in this episode to whatever happens. Maybe next season, maybe at the end of the show, I don't fucking know. But things that will happen later. And I feel like if anything, the episode matters on that level, on the level of like, we're gonna get a bunch of shit and this is gonna be part of the puzzle. We're gonna get more breadcrumbs here. So you're getting a bunch of stuff here in this episode that will make sense later. But also the main plot of the episode, it is resolved within the episode. And it's actually not super complicated. It's relatively straightforward. So I think this episode might get divided into 1, character exploration, 2, weird, obscure foreshadowing that makes not goddamn sense, but it will make sense later. And 3, the actual storyline of the episode that does get resolved within the episode, which is about the first Slayer. And I can only speak for 1 and 3, but when it comes to 2, that wasn't intentional, but it's what it ended up being. When it comes to 2, which is whatever might happen in the future that this episode may or may not have planted seeds for, I cannot speak for that. I don't fucking know. And the reason why I'm saying that is because this episode made me think of the interaction that Buffy had with Ghost Faith at the end of last season when Faith said some cryptic shit. And I was like, all right. And then we just moved on from that. And then in this episode, it actually came back. I think Buffy was talking to Tara, which we then learn is the first Slayer. And she says like, oh, look at that bed. Me and Faith spent so much time trying to make it look nice or whatever, trying to order it. And that was what they did last season when we had this scene. And this feels like a continuation of that scene. And then she looks at like a clock and it's like 7:30. And then she's like, oh, look how late it is or something like that. And when I saw that, I immediately had a flashback to like, what the fuck did Fate say? Because Fate said some bullshit that made no sense. But I remember that she did drop a 3-digit number, I believe. And it was something like 750. Something like that. And if that is the case, then that would be a time. And if that is a time, then now that we see a clock, I was thinking like, was it 730? And if it's 730, then it's now. But then nothing really happened here. So I'm thinking that is like Buffy's weird mind palace. And we are going to be back to the time that Faith promised, maybe? Or maybe that was the time that we encountered in this episode. I don't know. I genuinely want to... I don't think I have the episodes anymore. Do I have season 3 of Buffy here somewhere? Hold on. Okay, I am rewatching the scene from season 3, actually. I found that. Buffy says, I have something I still have to do. Faith says, oh yeah, miles to go. Little Miss Muffet counting down from 730. Great riddles. Okay, so it's 730. So it is the time that was shown in this episode. I for some reason distinctly remember like 7 and 0, but I didn't remember the number in the middle. So it's what we saw here, 730. Counting down from 730. That's what this episode was. This episode is 730. Counting down from it. So maybe this episode is the first episode in a chain sequence of events that will eventually end up culminating in something really important. And now this makes more sense, actually. Now that I'm watching this, like, weirdly enough, it makes more sense. Sorry if you can hear noise in the background. There is... I don't know what that is. There's some construction or some bullshit. Sorry if you can hear it. If you can, then I'm sorry, Norman. I don't know if you can tell. I'm kind of going crazy here because I'm cooking. But Faith said, Buffy's interaction, if there's something I'm supposed to be doing, and Faith going, oh yeah, miles to go, Little Miss Buffy come to know from 730. That sounds like, oh, this is really interesting now. Because now that scene actually kind of makes a little more sense. Because back then, it was just nonsense. Now that we actually have a greater perspective of the show and Buffy and whatever, and because we have, like, completely escaped the storyline with the mayor and whatever was happening in season 3, now we can focus on just overarching in the show, which this feels more apt. I feel like Faith saying that is Buffy says there's something I'm supposed to be doing. Faith goes, miles to go. That means that Buffy does have some kind of ultimate purpose that she needs to fulfill. And also because I'm watching Angel, I know that Fate is real, by the way. Not Faith, the character. Fate as a concept, right? As like the wheel of fate turns. Kind of like that. Because in Angel, we actually do get to see that there's like weird architects of fate or something. And Angel actually had them like reverse time in order to undo something or whatever. It's wild. Angel's kind of wild sometimes. But because of that, I know that fate is like a thing. And if fate is a thing, then it means that whatever we're talking about here, that Faith is saying, Dream Faith is saying to Buffy, is weirdly like, yes, you do have an ultimate purpose. Something's going to happen and you're going to have to do, or you're going to do. That's going to happen later. She said miles to go. So eventually you're going to get there. We're not there yet, which at that time it was season 3. Now it's the end of season 4, but we're still not there yet. But she said counting down from 730, which to me sounds like Buffy's ultimate purpose is going to happen as a result of a chain of events unleashed by the events of this episode, which was 730. That's the logic in my brain right now. That's the puzzle that I'm making together. I don't know if it makes any goddamn sense, but that's what I'm thinking. Little Miss Muffet, counting down for 730. Why Little Miss Muffet? Like, I'm pretty sure I Googled Little Miss Muffet nursery rhyme back when I watched this for the first time. This is a nursery rhyme, and I don't know what it means, and I don't know if anyone knows what it means. What is the real meaning behind Little Miss Muffet and Quora? It's about a girl named Patience, who was Dr. Muffet's stepdaughter. What? I don't know if I should believe Quora is the thing. Okay, let me check the actual nursery rhyme. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. There came a big spider who sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Nobody knows what the fuck a tuffet is, also. The origins are unclear. Oh, arachnophobia is a related article here on Wikipedia. Well, the poem is on its face is about fear or even arachnophobia. It can be a metaphor for Murphy's Law, which says that anything that can go wrong will. When you're sitting down ready to eat. Poof, spider. Now what do? That's what really at stake. Okay. It could be just about fear. It could just be that. But it could also... Well, this article is Murphy's Law. I mean, that's just a random ass article. I don't also like articles online. I hate the modern internet, by the way, but that's just going on a whole different tangent that I actually talked about before. Okay, let's operate on the assumption that it's about fear. Little Miss Muffet, who is afraid, counting down from 730. So Buffy is Little Miss Muffet, who is afraid, counting down from this episode. Okay. So something Buffy will do, some kind of ultimate accomplishment or goal that we're building up towards, that her life is building up towards, that will happen as a result of the chain of events released in this episode, which was meeting the first Slayers, that's 730, and it will be related to Buffy being afraid on some level. That's what I currently have. And I don't know if any of it makes any goddamn sense. But that's where we're at. The fact that I'm going back to like the end of season 3 and just analyzing a fucking bullshit ass riddle that makes no goddamn sense and being like, I got it. I get it now. Oh my fucking god. I want to rewatch this episode. Not season 3. Back to Restless. This episode season 4. I want to rewatch it. I do. I really, really, really do. I'm gonna rewatch it when I'm editing the episode because I go through like the full thing, so I'm gonna kind of rewatch it then. But like this episode, I like this episode. I don't know how people feel about this episode, but I like it because I like the directorial choices for this episode a lot. There were so many like shots and transitions and just the way characters interacted with one another that felt so dreamlike because it was. And it's so weird and so odd, and I love that. Like, my favorite fucking thing was when Xander was talking to Joyce and Joyce was talking, but her mouth wasn't moving. And it was instead like a weird slow pan of her, and she was just doing this. But you're hearing her talk. And then it cuts to Xander having a normal conversation. I don't think it even cut to Xander. It like weirdly faded into Xander talking normally, which is a weird choice of a transition. But that's a dream, right? I loved it. There was again in the Xander portion, there was a moment where Xander went outside and Giles and Spike were just swinging. And the way everything was filmed with like a shittier camera. With a completely different camera. Maybe it was just a filter. It could have just been a filter. But it felt like a very different camera than the one used for television. It felt just like, oh, we're doing something completely different here. There was a moment where Buffy's just entire face, well, the entire shot really turned into like a thermodynamic shot. I have to rewatch it. I don't know what the fuck that was. But then later in the episode, I guess it came back in a weird way when she put mud all over her face, and it's like, yeah, killer. I suppose that is Buffy's kind of weird internal conflict. It's the fact that she sees herself as a killer, that she's a killer, but maybe that was just the first Slayer telling her that he's a killer. You know, maybe it was just her telling her, trying to convince Buffy that she is the killer, right? It's not Buffy saying herself as a killer, but it's the original Slayer telling her that she's the killer. Okay. Breathe. Slow down. Do y'all notice that I got a Jolene statue? Right there. Jolene. I'm telling you, please don't take my man. Jolene. From JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 6, Stone Ocean. She's fucking huge, by the way. Look at size comparison. She's fucking massive. And it wasn't even expensive. It wasn't. I think that they actually just made too many of these. So now they're not going for too much. I think they were expecting Stone Ocean to do a lot better commercially, but Netflix absolutely butched the release for Part 6 of JoJo, so it didn't do too well. And now there's just a bunch of these just going around. I got one. I'm very happy about it. I'm talking about this because this is something that I feel comfortable talking about because I understand that it's very easy to see Jolene and it's like, yeah, I understand JoJo. I understand having a really sick as fuck figure. It looks really cool. I don't know what the fuck happened with Buffy today. I'm trying to like ground myself on some level because it's so weird that last week's episode, I was like, I feel lost. I don't know what the fuck is happening because there's an extra episode and yet it felt like everything ended. And then this episode comes along and it just made it worse. It made it worse. It didn't actually answer it answers some things while simultaneously opening a completely different kind of worms that maybe was open already since last season. I'm gonna put Jolene down again. She's bigger than fucking Master Grade Freedom. That's how fucking big she is. Oh my god. What else do I talk about? I am not going to lie to you. I can feel myself running out of breath. Because I just got too crazy talking earlier. So I'm gonna let me slow down. Let me breathe. Let me skim through the episode, see what I can find. I'm watching the scene between Buffy and Tara, which was actually the first Slayer. It's interesting how Buffy wakes up in that bed, and then it immediately cuts away to Buffy standing away from the bed, staring at the bed and going, Faith and I just made that bed. Tara asks for who? Buffy's like, you guys aren't here, right? We're gonna hang out and watch movies. You lost them. Stares at the clock, 7:30. I see it. It's so late. The clock's completely wrong. Okay, maybe this wasn't 7:30. Maybe it's not 7:30 yet, because she said the clock's wrong. But at the same time, she says the clock's wrong, and then says here, and gives her not a clock, she gives her hands. It's kind of like a tarot card, and it says Manus, and it's just hands. I think that they said that earlier, like last episode, because everyone was representative of a card, and Buffy was the hands, I think. I'm never gonna use those. I think you know what's to come, what you are. You haven't even begun. And now the bed is made. Be back before dawn. Okay, whatever that means. Be back before dawn. Be back before dawn. What she said, you don't know what's to come, you haven't even begun, makes me think that Buffy's gonna kill so many things. Because if the first Slayer is a representation of just slaying, killing, and that's kind of what it comes down to, is that the first Slayer is a representation of just killing. Buffy fights her back and resists because Buffy refuses that the idea of being the Slayer should just be kill for the sake of kill. Buffy doesn't even really enjoy killing. She does killing, but she kills evil forces that just fuck with her or just try to kill people. But Buffy in general, whenever we interact with a sentient being, Buffy doesn't default to killing. Faith did that in the past, and even Faith didn't feel great about it, but Buffy doesn't really do that. So fundamentally, we have a difference in view of how they see themselves and how they see their job, their duty, their position in the world of being the Slayer, as the first Slayer thinking, well, the Slayer should kill. That's what the Slayer does. That's what the name is. Buffy is like, no, we don't necessarily do that. Like, I can do that, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna have to every fucking second. And that's where they oppose each other. However, maybe what the first Slayer here is saying is that Buffy is going to reach a point where she's gonna, like, I don't know, kill so many goddamn people or kill someone very important. And that will be the chain of events that we're talking about here, that I already theorized that might or may not happen thanks to Faith giving cryptic messages last season. I don't know what else to say about this episode, if I'm completely honest with you. I'm sure that there's a lot to say about this episode. I would have to rewatch it, and I don't wanna. I really don't wanna. Not right now. I feel really exhausted. I feel fucking drained by this episode. I feel like I could rewatch every scene and trying to come up with like a reasoning behind like a lot of these choices will take me a couple hours, and then I would have to sit on it. This might be one of those episodes where I record an extra audio bit later after I finish editing the episode. I might have extra things to say. And if I do, then stick around, and it should like play around here somewhere. Otherwise, I think I'm done. I think I'm done with this episode. I have to say, I don't know what the general vibe of myself comes across as for you watching this video, but I really enjoyed this episode. I did. Because I really enjoy... Okay, there's like two different types of enjoyment that I think do it great for me. One type of enjoyment that I love a lot is dumb shit. I enjoy dumb shit. I enjoy stupid shit. I enjoy whenever something is just like clear cut, simple, over the top, just stupid, in your face. I'm a JoJo fan. That's always JoJo. It's just fucking dumb. It's just right for it. You don't have to worry about it. It's just like right there in front of you. Perfect. Because it's just a ball. It's just a blast. It's fun. I enjoy just having fun. However, the other type of really great enjoyment that I get from media is whenever I feel like my brain is on fire. I enjoy that. I actually do enjoy that feeling. Because these videos, for you watching this, these videos are not video essays. They are not. These are videos of me watching something and then cooking for half an hour. And that's something that I find really enjoyable to me, because I am not making a video essay. I am not like going and putting in all of this like investigative and narrative work into things, trying to figure out everything on a deep analytical sense and showing all my work. It's like, no, I don't do that. Maybe I could do that about certain things. I'm lazy about it. But what I'm doing with these videos is doing something that I genuinely love, which is whenever I watch something that I care about, I'm sitting here and I'm like trying really hard to like grab every single detail and try to like figure out what was the reason, where are we going, what is happening, etc., etc. That to me is not something I do because I want to like, I don't know, I don't want to like show like, oh my god, look at this discovery that I made. I don't do that. What I do here with these videos is me having fun, because to me this is fun. Grabbing something that makes my brain just kind of just spin in circles and just kind of like choke itself, that's something that's fun for me. I enjoy going through the process of like, I'm struggling to keep up. And I feel like I am keeping up barely. I feel like I'm grabbing things and I'm like, okay, I get that. I know where that comes from. I understand that. That connects to this, that connects to that. Like, that to me is so fun. Grabbing a puzzle like that and grabbing all the pieces and being like, oh, that's what it is. That's so fun for me. This episode was a very fun episode for me because of that. Because it felt like I was in a puzzle, but the puzzle was also on drugs. Well, it was a dreamy episode, right? Everything in the episode was a dream, which means that everything was subjected to dream logic. Dream logic makes no goddamn sense, but I also feel comfortable with it. And this is something I kind of mentioned during the reaction, but I dream a lot, and most of my dreams are weird like that, and they apply to dream logic. And I understand that people dream different things. I have a friend who only dreams like weird shapes, and it's kind of weird and freaky. It's not really a cohesive story. I have another friend who dreams up like full narratives, like fucking books, and she's not involved in them. She only watches them like movies, but she doesn't see herself as anyone in the movie itself. She sees it as if she was watching a movie, something happening on a screen in front of her, but she's not involved at all. My dreams are pretty involved. I feel involved in pretty much every single one of my dreams. Sometimes I am not me, but I am still the point of view. I'm still the perspective. So they feel pretty grounded to myself. And I also feel like in my dreams, everything operates on a logic that it makes sense to me internally. And I know exactly why. Like, as soon as something happens in my dreams, there's a lot of noise outside. I'm sorry. There's a lot of like weird construction or whatever. I hear like a saw. Sorry, I'm recording this finale while that is happening. I have no control over that. But something in my dreams that this is funny, but this will tell you maybe something about myself, is that in my dreams, whenever something happens, whenever dream logic happens, a character says something or something happens, in my brain, like in the dream itself, almost as if I was the narrator, which I am, but it is almost as if I wasn't aware of the fact that I had control over it. Whenever something happens and someone says something, in the dream itself, I think, yes, because that connects to this, and you said that because that solves this, and it would make sense for you to say that because that connects to this. And then the rest of the scene plays out. Like, every time I'm having a dream, it feels like something weird happens, and my brain itself knows the logic about why that played out the way that it did. It's like someone says something that was weird and didn't make any goddamn sense, and my brain is like, well, it made sense because you arrive to that weird line by going through this thought to that thought to that thought to this thought, and that connects to that weird line. And now it makes sense. Like, my brain itself analyzes why it wrote the dream. Right? It wrote something weird that didn't make any sense, and then it told me it makes sense because of these three connections that ended up here. And then I go, thanks, brain, continuing with the dream. Straight up, everything happens mid-dream. I'm analyzing my own dreams and being like, oh, that makes sense logically, internally within my own world. It doesn't make any sense in real life in terms of like something that would be normal to happen or say, but to my brain it does, and I am aware that it does, and I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, brain, that was a good narrative arc, and it didn't make any sense, but it made sense to you, which is me, so good job. So whenever this episode is happening, I can see the dream logic. I can see why things were said and connect in the way that they do, and I'm like, yeah, that's perfect, because that's exactly how they are. I have so much experience with dreaming too, because I don't know if I mentioned this before, but during like my like peak depressive years, there was like a straight up like a full year where I didn't sleep at all in any way that wasn't like 30-minute naps throughout the day, just non-stop, where I would just stay up and play games or just do whatever, doom scroll on social media, and then I would just do that until like, I don't know, 2 p.m. and then pass out when I couldn't go on anymore. And I would pass out for half an hour, and then I would wake up and I would be like, man, let me see what's going on my computer. And a friend of mine would have like talked to me on instant messaging and Discord, and then I would reply to them and immediately pass out again for another 30 minutes, and then do that over and over again for like 10 hours. And that was my life for like a full year. And something interesting about that is that when you sleep in that, for that duration of time that often, you kind of live in a weird dream state. And you shouldn't do this. Let me be very clear. This was bad that this was my life for a while, and nobody should have to live like that. But at a certain point, dreams and reality started to kind of blur together. They straight up did. I was like, things that were told to me that happened in real life, I would be like, wait, did that happen for real or did I dream it? Was that something that actually happened? Was that something that someone actually said, or did I just fucking make that up? And like a lot of my life became that for a long period of time. And again, that also made me incredibly comfortable and just understanding of how dreams work and how my own dreams work. Because every day I would have like 10 different dreams. And sometimes they maybe would connect to some kind of through line, or maybe they wouldn't. And the reason why they would is because my brain started to think about them so much, because that was everything that was happening in my day. And then it would be that, and then it would loop again into my own brain, and then it would just use that as fuel for the next one, and then that into the next one, and then the next one, and then it would just I would just have full movies happen every 30 minutes in my head. Some of them I still remember, because honestly, a couple of them were kind of good. They were kind of fun. I would watch that as a movie, and I was like, yeah, that was great. That was awesome. And I had some like clear images and visions that I had in dreams that I haven't forgotten, and because they were so like impactful to me. But they really come in hard if you sleep like that, if you have a fucked up sleep schedule like that, and the way your brain operates with that eventually makes sense. Eventually your dreams just go like, oh yeah, this is how they work. This is exactly how they work. So when I'm watching this episode, I actually felt comfortable. It felt comfortable because I was watching it and it was like, everything here is so fucking weird and trippy, and that is exactly how it should be. This is how my days worked for like a full year, a couple years ago, like almost like a decade at this point. I'm old. But yeah, like not a decade, but close to a decade now. And it's like, yeah, back then I used to have full days, full months that were just this episode. So when I was watching this, I was like, I love this. I generally do, because it makes sense to me. And it only makes sense to me, but it also feels weirdly at home for me. Just seeing all of these things that matter to these characters and how they come into a weird collage salad of weird bullshit that makes only tangible sense. Just a slim connection of a metaphor, of a vision, of a feeling that connects to something real. And I love that. I do. I feel very, very comfortable with shit like that. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoy this episode. I don't remember half of it because it was just too much crazy shit. I'm gonna rewatch it when I edit the episode, and if something comes to mind that I should talk about, I'm gonna add an extra thing here. Otherwise, that's gonna be it for this video. This discussion was 50 minutes long. A lot of it was just nonsense. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode reaction to Buffy. And remember, I'm going to be taking a break before I start Season 5. But I will be doing the Angel watch-alongs to the remainder of Angel Season 1 on my Patreon. So if you want to join and watch that, I'll do that. I don't know if I'll do a YouTube release of the final episode of Angel Season 1. I might. I don't know. I'll watch it and then I'll figure it out. But after that, I am going to be releasing the Buffy cast, which is going to be a couple hours of just discussing Season 4 of Buffy and maybe Season 1 of Angel. So I'm going to be doing that. Keep an eye out for like my YouTube community tab or my Patreon, where I'm going to be posting like, hey, shoot me some questions for me to answer about Buffy Season 4 that you might want to know how I feel or what I think. So yeah, that's what's happening on the channel in the near future. After this, I'm immediately going to start watching like Doctor Who, which is immediately coming back. So I am going to take this opportunity from the downtime of Buffy Season 4 into Season 5 to just do Doctor Who a lot. And then after that, jump into Buffy Season 5. Probably during. I'm not going to waste super much, but yeah, probably during. Alright, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching this reaction episode to Buffy. See you guys later. Bye. And alright everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode reaction to Buffy. Oh god, if you would like to see Angel watch-alongs and Buffy full-length reactions, and maybe the Buffy cast even, you can do so at the Patreon. Support the channel, check out the link in the description below. There's no Papa. Just go to the Patreon, please. Thank you. Bye. God, I'm tired.